This weekend, chaos unfolded at some of Europe's busiest airports. Passengers arriving at London Heathrow, Brussels, and Berlin expected the usual routine, but instead they were met with dark screens, frozen kiosks, and endless queues. A cyber attack had struck the heart of airport operations, knocking out the check-in and boarding systems that keep millions of travelers moving every day. Flights were delayed, dozens cancelled, and thousands of journeys thrown into uncertainty. What looked like a technical glitch was in fact a stark reminder of just how vulnerable global aviation has become in the digital age. It all began on Friday and stretched into Saturday morning. At Heathrow, more than 600 departures were scheduled, yet many were forced to rely on manual processes. In Brussels and Berlin, similar scenes played out. Airline staff scribbled passenger details by hand, boarding passes were issued on paper, and the pace of travel slowed to a crawl. The disruption didn't come from within the airports themselves, but from a third-party service provider. Collins Aerospace, a US-based company that supplies the software used at check-in counters and automated boarding gates across Europe. When their systems went down, the ripple effects were immediate and widespread. For travelers, the chaos was frustrating and confusing. Families stood in lines that snaked across terminals. Business passengers watched their tight schedules collapse. Airline staff tried to reassure people, but in reality they were just as much in the dark. With the automated systems down, airports were forced to fall back on manual procedures, something designed for emergencies, not for handling tens of thousands of passengers at once. Even those whose flights did take off often left hours behind schedule, creating a chain reaction of missed connections and rebookings across Europe and beyond. What makes this story more alarming is not just the disruption itself, but what it reveals. Modern aviation is deeply dependent on digital systems. From the moment a passenger books a ticket to the second their bag rolls onto a conveyor belt, software is working quietly in the background. A failure at any point can throw the entire chain into disarray. And when that failure is caused by a deliberate cyber attack, the question shifts from how did this happen to what happens next time. Because if attackers can disrupt check-in and boarding systems, could they aim for more critical targets? Could they try to manipulate flight data or even hold entire networks hostage? This attack wasn't the first in aviation, and it won't be the last. Over the past decade, airports and airlines have increasingly become targets for hackers. Not just because of the chaos it creates, but because of the sensitive data stored within these systems. Names, passports, credit cards, travel itineraries. It's a treasure trove for cybercriminals. In this case, there is no evidence yet of stolen data, but the vulnerability exposed is clear. The weakest link may not be the airline or the airport itself, but the outside contractors they rely on. Third-party vendors like Collins Aerospace connect multiple airports to the same systems. A single breach, therefore, can paralyze travel across several countries in one strike. The economic cost of such incidents is staggering. Airlines lose revenue from cancellations and delays. Airports face reputational damage as frustrated passengers vent online. Staff are stretched to the limit, and passengers lose precious time, money, and sometimes even once-in-a-lifetime trips. But beyond the financial loss lies something harder to measure: trust. Air travel relies on confidence. Confidence that flights will depart on time, that baggage will arrive where it should, and that systems will work. Each cyber attack chips away at that trust, and rebuilding it is never easy. So what can be done? The answer isn't simple, but it starts with resilience. Airports need stronger backup systems, not just on paper, but tested under real-world pressure. Airlines and vendors must be held accountable to higher cybersecurity standards with regular audits and transparent reporting of vulnerabilities. Governments and regulators too have a role, treating aviation cybersecurity as a matter of national infrastructure on par with energy grids and financial systems. Because in today's interconnected world, an attack in one corner of Europe can quickly disrupt flights, cargo, and passengers across the globe. The events at Heathrow, Brussels, and Berlin are a warning shot. This time it was check-in systems. Next time it could be flight planning software, air traffic communication, or biometric data systems that are increasingly being rolled out worldwide. As aviation pushes deeper into digital transformation, the attack surface only grows larger, and the adversaries, from lone hackers to organized criminal groups and even hostile states, are becoming more sophisticated. For the passengers who stood in endless queues this weekend, the cyber attack was an inconvenience, maybe even a nightmare. But for the aviation industry, it was something far bigger: a wake-up call, a reminder that behind every boarding pass and baggage tag lies a complex web of technology, and that web is only as strong as its weakest strand. The skies may look calm from above, but on the ground, the battle to keep aviation secure is just beginning. If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe, and see you in the next one.